bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
And the salud and welcome back. So glad to see all of you for another liquid lunch. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you had if you had an extended weekend, I hope it was very enjoyable. And even if it wasn't, I hope you still had a wonderful weekend. I just realized I'm a little off center, aren't I? Let's kind of fix that a little bit. There we go. All right, everyone. So who's first? Well, she's definitely the first in my life. That's Netter of Netter's Network. I love you too, my dear. I brought you a drink, so you're all set as well. The timey-wimey-limey. Salute, Cap. Good to see you, my friend. Jesse Guajardo says, hey, guys. Hey to you as well, Jesse Guajardo. Yes. And so the opening music for this for Last Call, for Netter's channel, those songs I have in a playlist here on the channel. So if you're really enjoying them, you can go check it out. Listen to them whenever you want to. But if you tune in regularly, you'll hear them all the time, right? Let's see here. That's Jessie. I know I saw. There she is. Connie Cleary. Welcome, my dear. Good to see you. And Jonathan Conroy. Hail to you as well, my friend. Good to see you. And that catches us up with who's here. So I'd love to hear what you're sipping on, or, if you're having a more solid lunch, what you're munching on. What's for lunch today? And if you did anything special for Memorial Day yesterday, I'd love to hear about that as well. The members, we all got together and streamed the original theatrical release of Star Wars. That was a lot of fun. It was good to see the as it was intended. As it was intended the first time around. Obviously, George Lucas had other intentions as time went on, but I don't care about as time goes on. I want to know how it originally released, and then death of the author. Not that I wish any ill will on Papa George. I'm just saying the philosophical concept of death of the artist, not literally. Looks like Jesse Guajardo is having a lemon lime soda. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I was never big on lemon lime soda because my mother always tended to give it to me when I wasn't feeling well. So I associated Sprite and 7-Up with nausea. You know, I positively equated the two things in my head. So even when I was healthy, if I had a lemon lime soda, I was like, oh, you know. 05:05 a.m. here, so time for a cup of tea. Well, over there, it's always a time for a cup of tea, isn't it, timey-wimey-limey? At least that's the impression that we get over here. And honestly, that's the impression that I got from my mother-in-law. So you know. But I'm sure some people are more tea drinkers than others. That's right. I forget how the time breaks. I thought it was afternoon there. I actually thought it was later evening there. It's the other way around. So fair enough. So good morning to you, my friend. Good to see you. And Clifton 3D. Good to see you, my friend. Liquid Bread. Hail, my friend. And hail, chat. So liquid bread is possibly a beer, but more likely an ale. I agree with you 100%. That is a perfect lunch. An old-fashioned liquid lunch. I'm also quite the coffee addict. Yeah, coffee is good. Coffee is wonderful. Coffee is life, as some people would say. So I'm pretty much going to be a day behind all this week, I think, because Sunday was Star Wars Day, and then Monday we watched Star Wars. Monday was Memorial Day, and I got to reading this article that's linked in the description below from that park place. And it's about Memorial Day, and I thought we'd take a look at it today. It kind of struck me. I have to agree with Clifton. Three beers is a sandwich, because you have one on either side and one in the middle. That's a sandwich, right? Some coffee is delicious. I prefer my coffee black as midnight on a moonless night, but not everyone does so. They tend to zhuzh it up with sugar and syrups and cream and turn it into a milkshake. That's not my bag at all. What's up, my brother from another mother? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the $2 super chat. That's very kind of you. I super appreciate that. And a doctor had a doctor's appointment today. My blood pressure levels are good for the first time in 3 years. Good on you, mate. Glad to hear that you are working on you. I actually have a couple doctor's appointments scheduled for this week. I've got a regular one. I think I go every quarter. This Thursday, you could probably see the big bruise on the back of my hand. It's because they were having trouble getting blood out of me last week. And I still haven't gotten those test results back yet. Got to see where my iron levels are. And then an annual physical this weekend. So, in other words, what I'm saying is I'm just sharing with you what I got going on, but nothing out of the ordinary to be concerned about. Yeah, you got to do black rightly if you're going to do it at all. I agree with you so much. Awesome. Good to see all of you guys saying hi to each other. I really like to see the community being a community. So anyway, let's get to this article that I've got. I guess I got and share the screen. How do we do that? We do it like this. You don't need the extra sound. And add it. So this one comes from That Park Place. It's an opinion piece by Marvin Montanaro. And let me tell you, Marvin Montanaro is doing great work over there at That Park Place. He is an incredibly good writer. And he's got some really, really great insights. So definitely worth checking out. Jesse says there was a coffee shop at my local college and they made the best I ever had. And I'm not a big fan of coffee. It's rough when you get to really love a particular place and then you either lose access to them, they go out of business, you move away. That's just a real bummer. I, for my part, have been finding my food and drink desires changing for a number of reasons. And I'm starting to look at, and YouTube is a great place, great resource for this. So if there's a fast food, for example, that I tend to enjoy, I want to figure out how to make it myself, as close as possible, because at least then I know exactly what's in it, you know. And sometimes I find myself making things that aren't quite right, but very, very good in their own right. And again, I feel a little bit more confident that I know what's in them. So anyway, this Memorial Day, we remember the heroes Hollywood forgot. As the nation pauses to honor its fallen defenders this Memorial Day, we at That Park Place want to take a moment to reflect, not only on the sacrifices made by those who served, but on the stories we tell about them and what it means when those stories begin to fade. For generations, Hollywood was one of the great American storytellers. Through film, it captured the grit, courage, and resilience of those who stepped forward in moments of global crisis and gave them the spotlight and honor they deserve. Let's focus on this picture for a second. It's worth it. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Papa Jake Larson poses with his granddaughter Michaela following a special flag retreat ceremony where the veteran was honored. That's from the Disney Parks blog. Man, that's wonderful. Movies like Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, and The Longest Day didn't just entertain. They reminded us of the cost of liberty and the value of courage. They immortalized the American soldier not as a symbol of conquest, but as a shield against tyranny. They gave the world a window into a nation that didn't stand idly by when the stakes were highest. The soldiers of the United States who fought in World War II weren't abstract concepts or background players in someone else's narrative. They were the ones who tipped the tide, who crossed oceans, not for glory, but to stand beside allies and push back against a rising darkness. They weren't perfect, but they were willing to risk everything for the idea that freedom mattered, that people mattered. I am blessed enough to have had great uncles that served in both the Pacific and in Europe, that told me stories about friends of theirs, some of them too young to serve, who lied about their age in order to enlist. Yes, there was a selective service, and yes, there was a draft, but some boys were so gung ho they tried to skirt the rules and volunteer before they were even called. The soldiers of the United States who fought in World War II weren't. Sorry, I already read that. For decades, the world remembered that. Those stories resonated across borders, not because they were propaganda, but because they were true. Yet in recent years, Hollywood seems increasingly hesitant to embrace this legacy. There's been a quiet turning away from traditional portrayals of American heroism. Studio heads and cultural commentators now suggest that showcasing our servicemen and women in a positive light maybe, in quotes, too political, close quotes, or might alienate international viewers. Some even argue that in the current political climate, stories of American valor are no longer globally viable. Let's be clear. The people of a nation are not the same as its government. Soldiers don't choose the slogans or campaign buttons. They don't write foreign policy. But they do carry the weight of it. They serve often in silence and often at great personal cost. Tom Cruise plays Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell in Top Gun Maverick from Paramount Pictures, Skydance, and Jerry Bruckheimer films. To shy away from honoring these individuals because it may not fit the latest ideological trend is not a sign of progress. It's a sign of cultural amnesia. It robs future generations of understanding what sacrifice truly looks like. When Top Gun Maverick took the world by storm, it wasn't just nostalgia that drew people in. It was pride. It was respect. It was the quiet, unshakable feeling that someone was still out there doing the hard job with honor. That's what resonates. That's what uplifts. Tom Cruise plays... Oh, yeah, we just talked about that. This Memorial Day, as families gather and flags are lowered to half-staff, we urge Hollywood to remember the role it once played, the power it once held to preserve memory, to elevate courage, and to inspire unity, not division. To every man and woman who has worn the uniform in the United States, we see you, we thank you. And those who never came home, your memory lives on not just in monuments or holidays, but in every story that dares to honor the truth of what you gave. From all of us at that Park Place, thank you for your service. We remember, we honor, and we will not forget. It's this Top Gun Maverick thing that got me thinking about this. We tend to think of this postmodern era as starting in the past 5 to 10 years, and that's just not true. When you think of the movie Top Gun Maverick, when you think of the original Top Gun, you think about its soundtrack, you immediately think of Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone, right? Well, did you know that there was a lot of artists that were approached to do a theme song for Top Gun who passed on it? And I'm not even going to name them, but a lot of them said, no, I won't do it because we think it glorifies war. Yeah, there were this sentiment that the entertainment industry has embraced has been there all along. It just has picked up momentum throughout our lifetimes. It was the kind of thing that I guess I have to assume it started with the counterculture of the 60s, because it was those hippies that have now moved into our schools. They've moved into our entertainment industry. They've moved into positions in the government, and they have really spoiled the milk of patriotism, of duty, of honor, and have really corrupted exactly what I think we should be honoring. Let me back up and see what you guys have to say here. Going back to something I had mentioned earlier, Timey Wimey Limey says, regarding Death of the Author, I agree. Let the work speak for itself, except for the infamous Blade Runner Decker question where Ridley Scott's intention counts, in my opinion. I disagree. I am vehement about Death of the Author. And if you failed to get your intent into your piece of work, that's a shame. You blew it. You had your shot and you blew it. I say that to George Lucas. I say that to Ridley Scott. I say that to J.K. Rowling, all of whom have done works that I really, really love. But get your message in there and drop the breadcrumbs to lead us to what you're hinting at, or, too bad. Just too bad. Let's see here. I'm surprised that Disney of today want to honor a war hero. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I kind of raised an eyebrow at that too. But as we were talking about last week, I really think the worm has turned, and I think that you see it with Iger coming to blows with Kevin Feige, and we're actually going to end up talking more about that in the coming weeks. But it's very clear that Disney is very late to the game, but they are trying to find a way to fix things over there and get back on track, because they see the winds of change. Well, I say the winds of change. It's just the winds of change for them. The reality is the heart of the American people has not changed. We just haven't been vocal enough about it, I think. Disney does have a war movie called Operation Dumbo that takes place during the Vietnam War. I remember that one. I do. Welcome, Mark Melnikoff. Mechpo. Here I are. Hapla. Welcome, welcome. I call BS. My wife is from Brittany, France, and to this day, they really love the Americans who helped them during World War II, so much so they changed the flag of Brittany to resemble the USA. I agree with you, Nate. I'd love to hear from some others out there what they think. Are the Americans the bad guys? Are we imperialist? Because you can't really hold that opinion and then get real upset when we go, you know what? We're pulling out of NATO and we're not going to get involved in your proxy war and we're done. Oh, wait a minute. We need you to stand against this. Well, wait a minute. Are we oppressive imperialists or are we here to defend you? You can't have it both ways, you know? Because let's face it, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I get annoyed when you complain out of both sides of your face. Pick a lane and stick to it. Even if it's not the lane I like, even if I disagree with you, at least I can respect you. Scott's intent is still there, but 43 years later, it's still being debated, so obviously not clear enough. Exactly. And I think a better story is one that opens itself to debate. That, I feel, is the entire point of Live from Sparkwood and 21. Every Tuesday on Deleted Scenes channel, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, where we talk about David Lynch and his works. And he was a big one for creating a mystery, but unlike a certain mystery box kind of guy, he creates a mystery and he has in his mind what he thinks the mystery is all about, but he never intends for you to solve that mystery. He gives you just enough to lead you to a possible answer, but many possible answers. And if you ever ask him, he will always deny any option of his extrapolating on his work. He says it stands on its own, and the mystery is the most fun when it is not solved. I mean, again, regardless of Scott's opinion, it was pretty much answered in the sequel. So if you believe in the canon of the franchise, it's been answered and it's done. But the question is best left unanswered. It is best to have that debate and have people on both sides of it. Because why? you're thinking, you're engaged. And why would you still care about a movie 43 years later? Because you are still engaged with it. That's why it's a good thing. Better to not answer it. If it was just cut and dry, if at the very end of it, you had Tyrell come out and say, Decker, the fact is you were one of my first line of replicants. Boom. Answers the question. Movie's over, and probably would not still be talking about it and rewatching it over and over again to this day. Yep, that's exactly how the workday should be. One thing I cannot abide is deliberate, vague endings. That's weak mystery box nonsense. Well, again, like I said, if it's J.J. Abrams, who never knew what the story was that he was telling to begin with, I agree. If you do know, but you purposely don't give the answer away, I got some respect for that. And it's funny because every now and again I'll see a video about some obscure film that I never saw. 40 years later, people, only just now realize this about this movie. And yeah, some of those are clickbait. Sometimes it's legit, though. Sometimes it's like, no one ever noticed this little detail and it changes everything. It's like, wow, that kind of really does. You just proved that on Twitter. You just proved that in your opinion, that's the case. But yeah, it's still very ambiguous. In fact, we were talking about that the other day on Deleted Scenes channel. We got a little off topic, but we pointed out that whereas the question arises, is Decker a replicant or is he human? And it seems to imply that he's absolutely human. The sequel does the exact flip. We have someone who starts out very clearly a replicant who starts to question whether or not he might be human, only to verify that he actually is a replicant. Troy, for understanding about NATO, is that we don't have to start from nothing. We have the equipment, the manpower, and other allies ready to show anyone who wants to F around and find out. Yeah, but the problem has become that NATO lived long enough to become the villain it claims to stand against, in my opinion. And welcome, Big Al of Big Al Presents. Always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. I super, super appreciate you. You can go on and on, Cap, about your proof and your opinion. I am not persuaded. And we could debate it some other time. That wasn't the topic I really wanted to get into today. But I love how people take something that is ambiguous, decide they know, and this is the only answer, and I will prove it. And they will prove it in ways that are like, you cause me to have to accept things that I don't accept. So-called facts that aren't such clear-cut facts. Kind of like how Big Al and I have debated about whether or not a certain Bruce Willis film is or is not a Christmas movie. Just saying. I would say that the debate continues as well. I don't do opinions, says the person standing by his opinion about a fictional story and how to interpret it. You should interpret it this way. This is what the author meant, and therefore it is absolute, even though we're talking about literature that is open to interpretation. David Lynch would never tell you you didn't get it. He would just say you got out of it what you got out of it, and somebody else can get something different. And that's okay. I cannot read someone using his general words and not start slipping into his voice. He has that very distinct voice. I can't remember what interview it was. He was talking about he was talking about something related to Eraserhead, and he said something about, he described something about the film and some shade of meaning in it, and the person interviewing him said, would you like to expand on that, or would you expand on that? And he said, no, I will not. And that just, boom, that was the end. I said what I said, and that's all I'm willing to say. I don't want to get any farther into it. And anyway. But I love an ending that is not cut and dry. Love thought-provoking endings. Yeah, see, there's a place for simple, straightforward, no-question stories. We call them popcorn films. You just sit there and shovel it, the popcorn into your mouth, and you shut off your brain and you don't think about it, and you just, accept it at face value. But it's also fun to be engaged and to think and to not have a clear-cut ending and be able to imagine it for yourself where you think that story goes after the fact. I would say it's the difference between watching a soccer game on TV, or football for those of you outside the United States, and going out and playing the game yourself with a bunch of friends. It's passive versus active. And both, I think, absolutely have their place. Popping in on your lunch break. That's exactly the spirit behind Liquid Lunch. So glad you were able to stop by, Boomer. But yeah, that is how I like to consume things. Now, like I said, Live from Sparkwood in 21 is very much about David Lynch, and specifically because his work is very, very open to interpretation. Tonight, in fact, we will be watching another David Lynch film, Blue Velvet, and taking a bit of a deep dive into that as well. To some degree, it's a straightforward story, but I think there's a lot of elements to it that aren't so cut and dry. And of course, with everything that we're looking at on Live from Sparkwood in 21, we try to tie it to Twin Peaks. If you understand, in order to understand some of the imagery, you can certainly project yourself onto it, but it does help to look at an author. If you are concerned about authorial intent, you should look at other times that same author has used similar imagery and say, well, does it mean something specific in this thing? Can I extrapolate that to this other thing? Usually you can. And I think with most writers and directors, you see recurring motives in their work. It's generally why you become a fan of that person. And if you like this, you will probably like that as well. But yeah. And I also happen to be of the mind that a piece of art is more than the sum of its parts. So, you don't look at the Statue of Liberty and say, wow, that is an incredible collection of ironwork and copper plating, or bronze plating. I actually forget. But, right? You look at it as a sculpture. It is more than just a collection of parts. And I think that the storytelling elements and motifs in a book or a movie or whatever the case is create a tapestry that is far richer than maybe even the author intended. And it does become something once If the author writes it and keeps it to himself, then it's 100% his own thoughts and intentions. It's a diary, right? Soon as it's published and released, it becomes an interaction with the audience. And the audience gets its fingerprints on it, and it projects its thoughts and feelings onto it, and that reflects back to the viewer. And they remember it, and they share that story with other people, and they share what they got out of it, which is going to flavor what someone else gets when they see it. That's why we try to be careful with the spoilers. But some people like the spoilers because they like being able to share that experience with somebody. Great example of that. I had never seen the movie Heartbreak Ridge. And my buddies used to quote that movie all the time. And I was like, guys, you guys keep bringing up these quotes that I hear over and over again from you, but I don't know where they're from. You've never seen Heartbreak Ridge? Well, that's it. This week, we're not playing D&D. We're going to be watching Heartbreak Ridge. And I watched Heartbreak Ridge with them, and I loved it. And when I got home, Netter said to me, so did you have a good game? No, we didn't play today. We watched a movie. Oh, what'd you watch? A movie called Heartbreak Ridge. She goes, oh, really? What was it about? And I kind of went into a lot of details. It hit a lot of the quotes and so forth. She's like, man, that sounds like a really good movie. I'd like to see it. Okay. So we got the movie. It became one of her favorite movies. And it wasn't the kind of movie that if she had just read the IMDb write-up on it, that she would have enjoyed. She definitely went into it with preconceived notions because of how I had shared the story with her. There were no surprises. She already knew what the story was about before she went into it, but she enjoyed the ride because of how I had told it to her, and that changed the experience for her. I think she would say for the better, because she oftentimes says it's one of her favorite movies. Actually, I think Recon kicks butt was the line from the one character. Welcome, by the way, JoesAtmosfere. Good to see you. It's copper. That's why the Statue of Liberty is green now. The oxidization of the copper that makes sense. Now that you say that, I should have realized that. Obviously, copper is copper colored. So it was copper colored when it was first put up there, but years of exposure to the salty air, of course, turns it green. And unless we're going to have people out there polishing the Statue of Liberty constantly, it's just going to be that color, I guess. I say to France, come and get it. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you know what? Because when a country gives a gift like that, that could be seen as a quid pro quo. We got to return the Statue of Liberty to France, right? That was too extravagant a gift to get from another country. Just saying, keeping things in perspective. So yeah, and I will be mentioning this tonight, probably both on Live from Sparkwood and 21 and on the Blake 7 watch party. Going forward, I think I'm going to be changing the start time of Blake 7, not this week, but next week. I think we're going to go to 10 Central. So we're pushing it out by a half hour, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. And the reason I say that is because with Deleted having the mystery movie nights that kind of push into Live from Sparkwood and 21, causing us to have Live from Sparkwood and 21 start late, and then that in turn causing Blake 7 to run late. I think we just push it out a half hour so that we can always be a little bit more guaranteed of the start time on that. And I'll talk to Deleted Scenes tonight, and we'll talk about this during the stream tonight. But we may try to pull. We will try to pull Live from Sparkwood 21 to be a little bit earlier to accommodate watch parties like we did last week and this week. To again not be overstepping and whatnot. Troy on Tuesday, yeah. Troy. Well, it'll be an alliteration twice a week, right? Troy twice a week, twice the Troy, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I'm doing this every day, so it doesn't really work. But I just felt like doing that tonight because I didn't really have a overarching topic for the day, so I just went. It's Tuesday, and we're gonna talk. So we're talking on Tuesday, right? But welcome, by the way, Darth Plato. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, speaking of Live from Sparkwood 21, I've got right over my shoulder here. This just came last week. This is a book called Always Music in the Air, The Sounds of Twin Peaks by Scott Ryan. Scott Ryan is a fan who has done a number of books analyzing different elements of Twin Peaks. I haven't begun reading it yet, so I can't share anything about it with you just yet. I'm sure there will be a day in the future where we'll talk a little bit about the music in the air of Twin Peaks, and I'll probably reference that a good deal. Take Two Troys and Call Me in the Morning. There you go. Take the Troy train. Okay, too much alliteration. I'm tripping over my words, and the more I drink, the more I'm going to trip. Tripping up Tuesday, right? There you go. So let me double check. We have, so like I said, it's Blue Velvet tonight on Live from Sparkwood and 21. That's an intense film. It really is. Let's see. The episode of Blake 7 this week is an episode called Day of the Gods. Come to think of it, it's kind of a trippy episode too. We're going to get a little bit more of a Callie focus than usual. I know not everyone is a big fan of Callie, but I think they use her in a good way in this particular episode. You know what? Just for a teaser, let me read the synopsis to you. The Liberators' devastating... Oh, excuse me. It's too small. I got to zoom in. My old eyes. The Liberators deviating wildly off course, heading straight for uncharted territory. Suddenly, a black hole looms into view and on the scanners, and the Tharn reach out to Callie from her childhood stories. So that is the sneaky peek for this week's Blake 7. Let's see. Give me a second here. I did send out a query because I want to be able to talk to you about okay. I wanted to be able to promote a stream that I'm going to be on tomorrow night, but unfortunately the stream's not up yet, so I can't just yet. If Troy was from Troy, then he'd be Troy of Troy. Is he from Troy, Illinois? No, I am not from Troy, Illinois, although I like the idea. I have often said that given a choice of what should be written on my tombstone, I wanted to say the Latin phrase fuit Ilium, which means Troy was, or Troy existed. Of course, it refers to the city of Troy, but Troy existed, and Thursday, if you're a fan of mine, this is a good week for getting your fill of Troy, because I made a very special announcement on Deleted Scenes channel on Sunday, and I reiterated it on yesterday's stream. I'm going to be doing a very special guest appearance on a stream tomorrow, and I am going to be the guest on Netters Network on Thursday. So I'll be kind of going over some of the things I talked about on yesterday's stream and on Deleted. So if you've missed it, I'm just making sure everyone's all filled in and everything. So that is Thursday, Netters Network, 9 o'clock Central, 10 Eastern. And then on Friday, Boomer and I are going to be talking AI. We won't be talking AI. It will really be us. It won't be a couple of AIs, but we will be talking about AI. There's a number of articles that came up that a couple of them were sent to me by Nate and by Mark, but instead of talking about them on Geeky Geezers, we decided we would just put them into one topic for Friday, mostly because Boomer had been wanting to talk about it for a while anyway. He has very strong feelings about this whole AI revolution, as I think most people do. Some people, because of a lack of understanding of what large language models are, what they are capable of, and what they are not capable of. Some of the articles we're covering specifically address people that are using it without understanding it very clearly. So it's going to be an interesting and probably very lively conversation. That's an idea for you. You and Boomer should do an entire show with AI avatars. I am not savvy enough to figure out how to do that just yet, but maybe I will try to do that one day. I'll start looking into that. It would be a funny little gag, I think. Maybe just like Doomcock has Harvey Cthulhu, maybe I can create a sidekick that's like AI Troy or something like that. I don't know, something. Soon we will see the Troy 1000 come from Skynet. Yeah, but, unlike Skynet, instead of hunting somebody down to exterminate them, he shows up and drinks all your booze. That would be the Troy 1000. There you go. Troy's avatar would be the USC mascot. Maybe. Saturday we're going to be doing Troy could be AI Troy could be 90 proof. There you go. I like that. You do it like they do the droids in Star Wars, so it could be 90 PRF or something like that. Sunday we're watching over on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, Inner Space. It's a movie I loved as a kid, but I haven't seen in years. I know I saw it in the theater, and then I saw it again when it was released on cable. And I've got the DVD, but there's only so many hours in the day. That's kind of why we do a lot of these watch parties. Just if we're going to be streaming all the time, may as well stream and hang out with you guys and watch a movie together. That's kind of the whole idea. So that is what we got going this week. And I have really enjoyed this liquid lunch with you guys. T90 proof. There you go. I like that. You guys are wonderful. These are not the Troys you're looking for. Move along. Exactly right. So anyway, guys, that's it for Liquid Lunch today. Want to see you back here in about let's say just slightly under 7 hours for live from Sparkwood in 21, where we will be watching Blue Velvet. Whoa. Thank you guys so much. You guys take care. Do all the things, hit that like button, shoot out the stream, even though we're done with the live show. I think people might still be interested in what I had to say. Catch the rerun. And the Troy's mind trick is just staying conscious through a stream when he's been drinking. That's the mind trick. I'm off work, so I'll take a nap and see you later. Well, then you should be well rested for Blue Velvet. So there you go. And I'll be sharing that stream out. You guys will see that. I thank you guys all so much. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.